welcome to Direct Knitter Podcast. I am your host, Sophia. This is Take 5. Let's get started. So before I jump into wonderful items that are great for beginners on a budget versus items that you really don't need, let's talk about my new design that I am wearing. I am so psyched. It is called Into the Wind. It is a cowlet and it is 100% beginner friendly, okay? And I knitted this with my beginners in mind because so many of y'all message me and leave comments about being a new knitter or, you know, not really well versed in like lace and things like that, but you want to learn. This is a great way to learn. This pattern has been tech edited. It is, I've written it in a way so that way it's easy for beginners who've never done lace and possibly never even a shawl before. This is it. This is super duper simple. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's knitted in the round. That just makes it 10 times easier. What I love about it is that you got this simple garter stitch body and then you move on to the lace, which is just yarn overs and knit two togethers, and that's it. And once you get past the lace, you get to these really fun bobbles that are super easy to form and tassels. What I love about this is that it is perfect for summer knitting and summer enjoying. It is such a fun thing to wear in the summertime, especially today where when it's a little breezy outside, but it's still kind of sunny. You could totally get away with wearing such a nice lace weight item. Yes, it is knitted in lace weight. That is a very fine yarn to work with. But I've made it super duper easy, and the yarn that I use is very beginner friendly. It doesn't split, it doesn't stick to itself, it's fairly affordable. It is by the Yarn Collective, which is one of my favorite brands because portions of proceeds, portions of sales go to Women for Women International, which is a nonprofit that help women in war-torn countries rebuild their lives. It is a fabulous organization to support, and I just love the Yarn Collective in general because it's just like a group of people who just love yarn and love knitting, and a lot of them are designers that we already know, like Bristol Ivy. Hey girl. And yeah, it's just fabulous. So link to the yarn below. Link to the pattern below. It's on Ravelry and Love Knitting. Thank you, Love Knitting, for sending me this yarn. I absolutely adore it, and I love the color. And what I love about this pattern is that one skein of yarn yields 3 of these. So, hello, bridesmaid gifts if you're getting married. Or hello, like matching Mother's Day gifts, or like matching like friends gifts, things like that. That's just so much fun. I don't know. I love when I can knit multiple items from one skein because I'm on a budget. Yeah, so check that out. Let's get on with things that will help you as a beginner knitter on a budget and things you just leave at the store. Let's get started, y'all. I'm gonna get comfy. So the first thing I have that you should probably leave at the store is a yarn bowl. I kid you not. Okay, so I didn't buy this. No, I didn't steal it. I just didn't buy it. My husband made this for me. I mean, bless his heart. Look at that. Oops, see, he made it for me. The squiggly line. Y'all love this bowl. Every time I have it, you're like, where do you get it from? Jake. Anyway, these yarn bowls can run for $100 plus. That's how much they were going for when he made this. I painted it, but he made it and everything. When we made this about 4 or 5 years ago, they were going, a wooden yarn bowl was like $100. Maybe I could find $50, but I didn't like the ceramic ones because if I was gonna spend $50 on something that a cat can break, nah, ma'am. That's why I went with wood. Okay. Now yarn bowls are fun because they prevent your yarn from getting dirty. They prevent it from rolling around, especially if you use balls like I do. Okay. Oh man, everything's tangled. Okay, it prevents it from running around, and you can put your yarn through there. That's pretty much all it does. It's just a glorified yarn holder. Does it work? Yes. Is it worth the money? if you're willing to splurge and treat yourself, go right ahead. But it's not something you need as a beginner, okay? If you do want something to keep your yarn from running around, get yourself a cereal bowl. This was $1. Yes. But what you should buy as a beginner that you definitely need is a set of reliable needles. Yes, I said a set, and here's why. If you're a beginner knitter, you probably started off with straight needles that look like this. Get rid of them. You might like them. Okay, some people love them. Like, I know a few of y'all prefer straights. I find them really hard on my hands. If you're like me, if you suffer from carpal tunnel from typing all your life and then knitting all your life, and then I get it from golfing because I'm probably doing something wrong, then these are your worst enemy because they just set off my carpal tunnel. Just that extra weight and having to balance this in my hands, it hurts. It hurts so bad. And people who say, Sophia, knitting is so hard on my wrists, so hard on my hands, try a circular needle. And if you're gonna try a circular needle, let's go with the big guys and let's get a Knitter's Pride set of interchangeables. Why? Because they are the most cost-effective needles and they will turn out to be the only needles you will need as a beginner, or in fact in your entire knitting life. And here's why. Okay, circular needles are used. They can be knit flat for like flat designs, or for designs that are in the round like this. That's great. That means you don't need to have separate needles for knitting in the round and separate needles for knitting flat. Also, you can knit small circumference things using the magic loop method. That is a method that some people dislike. I hated it at first, but then when I realized I could save a buck by not buying DPNs in every size, I sucked it up and I learned magic loop. I've also learned traveling loop, which is for medium circumference items. And those are two methods that are free to learn. Videos are on YouTube, and I love that I didn't have to buy anything, okay? And the beauty of investing in an interchangeable needle set, yes, even when you're on a budget, is that you can essentially knit anything you want. And as a beginner knitter, and if you're swatching, you have a hard time getting engaged, guess what? You have like 10 or 13 other needle sizes to work with. It's fabulous. And what I love about Knitter's Pride, this isn't sponsored. Knitter's Pride, sponsor me. Someone email me. Knitter's Pride, email me. Okay, sponsor me because I love your stuff. This is not sponsored, but say if you like needed to change sizes while knitting a pattern. Like say if a pattern says do ribbing in size 8 and then switch to size 9 for stockinette. You don't have to transfer your stitches to another needle. Okay, this is 2019. All you gotta do is unscrew and then just connect the size that you need. It is fabulous. This changed my life as a beginner knitter when I bought myself a set. Now sets from Knitter's Pride run at several different price points. They have cheaper ones and they have more expensive ones. This set for the metal needles were about $100. However, my first set was like $45 off of Amazon. That to me was a splurge as a beginner crafter. But it changed my life because then I was able to knit a sweater. I was able to use these in a plethora of ways. Like these are great for holding on to stitches. So say if you're knitting a bottom-up sweater, a lot of times you have to put your body stitches aside. All I did was unscrew these bad boys and then I screwed them on a different cable and I left my live stitches just on the cable. Okay, they do have cable ends that come with every set that keeps your stitches in place. What that means is that you don't need to buy a stitch holder. You don't even need to like run a tapestry needle through your stitches with scrap yarn. You ain't gotta do nothing. All you gotta do is unscrew and keep going. It is so simple. I've also used interchangeable needles in ways like they are really great for I-cord. They are really great to even use as a cable needle. I've used them for everything. And what I love about Knitter's Pride is that they have different types of mediums that they use for their needles. Wood, acrylic, and metal is like their basic ones. And even though they're all different types of needles, they all take the same cables. They come in different sizes. They got short tips. They got these regular tips. This is what I usually use. Like, they accommodate everyone and on a budget. So please check them out. They're available on Amazon. That's usually where I buy them from because I like my Prime. Okay. So that's great. One thing, though, you definitely don't need as a beginner. I'm sorry. I know. I love me some project bags. I do. Ooh, what's in this? Nothing. You don't need these. You don't. I'm sorry. This is a great gift. These are a great gift. This is a great treat yourself. But this is not a necessity. I kept my stuff in shopping bags. In my shopping bags, I mean when you get those reusable shopping bags at the grocery store for $1. That's what I used, okay? Sometimes I just use plastic bags, which just sounds so grimy. But hey, it's free. It's not a necessity. It really isn't. This is just something really cool to have. I didn't start buying project bags until 6 or 7 years into knitting. I swear to you, I just use whatever I had in the house. I use pencil cases, makeup bags. I'm looking over here. Just like anything, anything I had lying around the house, I used it, okay? Project bags are great. A lot of them are designed for knitwear, designed to keep from pilling and things like that. That's all great. But when you're on a budget, trying to keep it simple, use what you have. Makeup bags are awesome to use for small projects. And I always got them as part of like gift sets and things like that. So say if you go to Bath and Body Works, okay, and you buy like a set of like lotions, sometimes they throw a bag in there for free. Bam, knitting bag, things like that. I always had to look out for like things that I can use. Wristlets are great. So just look at what you have around your house. You don't have to invest in a bag to protect your knitting. You can just use what you got. But something that you should really look into is a yarn swift. Just a yarn swift. For those who don't know, a yarn swift is used when you buy your yarn in a skein, so it comes in a big loop, and you place the loop around the swift, okay? It is a great way to hand wind your balls. You don't have to buy a ball winder. In fact, my ball winder broke last year, and I never replaced it, and I don't care. But if my swift broke, I'd be really mad. This swift was about $20 from Amazon. It is all plastic and bendable. It is not a work of art. It is not fine craftsmanship, but it gets the job done, especially if you're on a budget. For $20, this saves my butt. I get so many skeins of yarn in the mail for designing purposes, and it just makes it easier to convert that skein into a hand-wound ball. It holds the skein perfectly. It spins. So half the time it takes no time to make a hand-wound ball using this. Before, I was using chair backs, I was using lamps, I was using my kneecaps to hold skeins of yarn, so that way, I know I say that word wrong. I know. The whole, is it skeins? Skeins of yarn. But this honestly saved me so much time and effort for $20. This is definitely something that needs to be on your list as a beginner. A lot of times people say, oh, like don't get swifts and don't get ball winders, they're too expensive. They can be, but if you just get one of these stretchy little guys that are $20 and you can hold on to them, like I've had this for a few years now. It hasn't broke on me. My ball winder did though. I highly recommend that you use this, especially if you're buying a lot of yarn from this next company that I'm going to talk about in a little bit. That only has yarn in small quantities. This will save your butt from completely hand winding it. Like, this is amazing. So, I used to believe that you had to have a ball winder to utilize a Swift. I was wrong. Okay, I just use it as a Swift holder, as I hand wind, and it changed my life. Now, what you don't need is Knitter's Pride. I love you, but you don't need these blocking needles. Let me show you what they look like outside the box, because I just realized with a big glare. Ready? These are these T-pins for blocking. Can you like see that? Look, you don't need it. You don't need it. I'm not going to throw it because it'll stick somebody in the butt, but you don't need it. These little T blocking, oh my goodness. The glare. These little T blockers are great. They're useful. I don't use them. I don't. You know what I use? I use rocks to block. I've used safety pins. Not safety pins. Push pins. When I first started knitting, I just used regular old sewing pins. Now, the only risk of using sewing pins is that a lot of them aren't waterproof. So they can actually rust if you use them a lot to wet block. Just don't use rusty pins. That's it. If you see your pins are starting to rust, you know, clean them or just get new ones. Like, that's just that. You don't need to invest in these T-pins here. They're great to have. They're inexpensive, somewhat, but they're not necessary. I'm sorry. I use straight pins forever. I've even used thumbtacks before. Right now, I'm all about the blocking weights. So I just use stones instead of investing in blocking weights. And I just find that way more effective. It just, I don't know, it's just easier, it's faster, and pickup is way faster too. Like, taking out all those pins are always a nightmare. So don't worry about investing in pins. If you want to use pins over blocking weights, then I just recommend you get you some sewing pins. If they start to get rusty, throw them out. Okay? Don't use rusty pins. And lastly, something that you really need to look into as a beginner is Knit Picks. Knit Picks is a company that mills their yarn and you buy it directly from them, so it cuts out the middleman and it makes their yarn cheaper. Now, I don't use Knit Picks for my designs just because I have moved on to higher quality blends, okay? No tea, no shade, Knit Picks. I love you so much, but I have moved on. However, Knit Picks helped me so much as a beginner because everything was affordable. They had great sales. They have different, like, all these different blends you can try out, and it's really low commitment. Like, skeins of yarn could run for $3, $4, $5. Okay, it is so inexpensive. You buy it online, half the time you get free shipping. There's always a sale. Anytime there's a holiday, anytime someone sneezes, there's a sale on Knit Picks, okay? And it was just a great company to order from. Knit Picks, for me, was definitely a beginner staple because you get some great, decent quality yarn at a really good price. In fact, even though I feel like I outgrew Knit Picks a lot, I'm definitely going to go back in there for some baby knits because all their superwash yarns are just super duper affordable. I just can't wait to dive in there later and check it out. All right, everybody, that was all my things that you don't need and things you do need as a beginner knitter on a budget. You want to help everyone out, you can post below, comment below, and let us know what was your top thing that you really needed as a beginner and something that you bought that you didn't need. Also, don't forget, I have my t-shirts on sale starting, 2 weeks ago? So check that out. I absolutely love how those came out. Y'all have been y'all have been receiving your orders, so I'm super excited to see y'all wear them. It's amazing. Don't miss out on the fun. I'm going to link my merch shop below so you can get you a shirt. Stay tuned now because it is Patreon time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next Friday. Bye.